when you hear the words new normal, it doesn't really make me feel like it's going to be anything better when we hear that. There's nothing wrong with the original normal anyway, but they have to say that for everything now these days. And one of those things is ghosting, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First of all, we're going to talk about how body image, the beauty industry. If I had to go ahead and really pick out how much money does the beauty industry make, if I just put that into a search and ask how much does it actually make, really, I want to know what it makes in a year. And the official line is for America, $49 billion, $49 billion. And the worth of the beauty industry is $571 billion in 2023. Now people ask, is the global beauty industry, so $50 billion spent in the U.S., valuation $570 billion, and a handful of multinational corporations that own the beauty industry. But yet, when you see the stories that come out about everything for a woman that has to go through to find beauty, or what identifies as beauty across the board, there's confusion in so many different places. But social media and the beauty influencers that are on social media are in a lot of bad places, okay? But social media, we're learning in a new study that if you ditch social media, if a teen does just social media, that her body image is going to improve, or a teen's body image in general will improve. So that's a new story that's been coming out, and let's go and talk about it. From the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Research Institute. Avoiding the constant barrage of airbrushed influencers and gorgeous models help teens feel better about their own weight and looks after just 3 weeks. And this is according to the researchers who partnered with the American Psychological Association. They chose 220 undergraduate students between 17 and 25 who were on social media apps for at least 2 hours a day. Saw they had signs of depression or anxiety. They were asked to rank themselves from 1 to 5 how they felt their looks, and asked questions about, am I pretty happy about the way I look? Am I satisfied with my weight? From never to always. After the first week, participants' social media time was cut to 60 minutes per day, the other half averaging 188 minutes daily. And so what they found out was those that cut the amount of social media ranked their body satisfaction and found the first group's self-image has vastly improved. The under-restrained group, nothing changed. And according to the lead author of the study, he said that Gary Goldfield says, quote, social media can expose users to hundreds or even thousands of images and photos every day, including those celebrities and fashion and fitness models. Because it desensitizes us. It puts us into a world of make-believe. Let me put the best example for all the guys out there, and all the women are going to understand out there too. There's a reason why everything you see on the net, okay, all the adult-themed content, pornography, for the most part, it's all on the internet. And because there's so much of it on the internet, that's for free. When you're talking about social media, and you know that on the internet, it's the same place where you can find pornography, and lots of it. Plenty for free if you want to, just like a Pornhub. When you see all of that, you do realize that just because there's so much different content out there, that our reality, what we see on the outside of our computers, our tablets, our phones, it gets warped because of what we're seeing on our screens. Because what we're seeing on our screens is not based on reality. We see influencers from other parts of the world, other beautiful people. Yeah, that's because they're not in our backyards. They're in other places around the world, or they might be visiting other places around the world. But that's not etched in reality. That's not us with our feet to the ground. Same thing with pornography, and the same thing with beauty. It's this whole thought process, fantasy land of what could happen. And I mean, you might see people that might be real life look a certain way. The whole body image idea of how some women, especially in Hollywood, when you look at how they can look on television or how they can look in general, and everyday people think they're going to get the same kind of results from what they get from mainstream everyday society that the Hollywood people get out of hours and hours of work and millions of dollars of work. So look like they do. You're not going to look like them. You might want to strive to be like them, but the truth is, you're not. Because all those women, all those men in Hollywood are all being made up. They're all getting the most optimal workouts and all these different regimens and things like that we can't have access to. Makeup, jewelry, accessories, all this other stuff that would be impossible for all of us to get with any significant income, not let alone resources, let alone the people to get us those things. It's not the same. The body image and the perception is too much. It wasn't like that before, but social media caused that. And now we know this study says something that I think would have been pretty obvious anyway if you look at it. So reducing social media use is a feasible method of producing a short-term positive effect on body image among a vulnerable population. Now, another story I want to bring up here in this segment is about ghosting in relationships. So there's a study that came out about that talked about how it is the way that we're learning about how ghosting is really contributing to relationships. Researchers have conducted a little formal research on why people ghost or the psychological effects of the phenomenon. We're learning from the University of Georgia's Department of Psychology. They're saying they're interested in what individual differences or personal characteristics might influence a person's intentions to use ghosting. Understanding if people with a high need for closure were less likely to use ghosting, or if they were hurt more after being ghosted. Well, when this does happen, we all have to go and just change our psychology and just understand the reality now of people that are ghosting us. It's just like those that are keyboard warriors that can go ahead and complain and comment and, insult people. They don't have to be responsible or accountable for their actions. Same thing goes here. If a friend decides to go and ghost you, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, they ghost you just except for the fact that they're just going to be gone. They've abandoned you. They've neglected you. They have just set you behind. They don't care anymore. And that's the way to look at ghosting these days. It is for dating. That is exactly what's happening now. It is a new thing about how it ends relationships. And that's something I just want to make point across here that they're going to talk about. Well, there's more to be said about this. We'll find out. So in the meantime, just know that people are going to go ahead and abandon you. And people can go ahead and be all conscious of their body image. But it doesn't make us any less depraved and debaucherous.